October 16th, 2025 council meeting order, please.
Councilmember Dean.
Here.
Councilmember Howe.
Present.
Councilmember Hyman.
Present.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Vice Mayor Whipple.
Here.
Mayor McIntyre. This evening we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Howe.
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, I pray that you guide us always. Satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting. Strengthen us as we continue to assess and make difficult decisions. Father, please guide us so that this meeting can be productive. Even if we have different opinions, give us the unity of spirit. Help us to listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than individuals trying to promote various agendas. Let us be effective and decisive, and may we have a spirit of continued camaraderie in this room and continue to work together on our shared mission. Amen. Face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening we have a proclamation presentation for Ms. Amber Abbott and anybody else that would like to join her. Jody's here too.
Firstly, I'd like to apologize. I did not get them.
Oh my goodness.
We had a new one?
Which
still gonna make him stand up for the mission.
Okay.
Absolutely. He can, he'll have a pen, he can blend in, it's
Oh,
fine.
yes, we have a
Yeah.
pen for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay,
Amber, I'll
thank
let
you.
you hold this side this time, since I did it the last.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. Whereas October annually recognizes National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and whereas the theme for the 2025 National Domestic Violence Awareness is With Survivors Always, which focuses on showing ongoing partnerships, safety, support, and solidarity with survivors. And whereas the problems of domestic violence are not confined to any group or groups of people, but crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers and are sustained by societal indifference. And whereas the crimes of domestic violence violate an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity due to the systemic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse. And whereas when a family member is abused, it can have long-term damaging effects on the victim that also leave a mark on family, friends, and community at large. And whereas the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals and society as a whole here in this community throughout the United States and the world. And whereas important partnerships have been formed among Hope Incorporated and other allied professionals to assist victims of domestic violence. And whereas we encourage domestic violence victims and their families to seek assistance from appropriate victim service organizations such as Hope Incorporated. Now therefore, I, Wayne Worth, and in lieu of Mayor James L. Malfajo, Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, City Council of the City of Clarksburg, hereby proclaim the month of October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of Clarksburg, and urge all citizens to work together to eliminate domestic violence and to support the efforts of Hope Incorporated. And I'll just tell you, as a social worker for the last 18 years, I would say in the field that I've worked in, other than substance use and drugs, domestic violence is a pretty close second to all problems that we have to face too. So thank you guys, and we commend you all for the work that you do. And if you want to say something, I'm more than happy to.
I mean, I guess in general, just knowing that our agency is here for anybody that needs it. The statistics are really high for somebody within their lifetime for men and women encountering domestic violence at some point. So if you know anybody or if you personally are going through it, feel free to call us or come to our office. We're in the United Way section of the Board of Ed building. So
Thank you for your support.
And if I could ask all the council members who are wearing purple or even not purple, if you would like to come up here and get a picture upon their request.
yeah, and we have pins to pass out for anybody who would like one. Doesn't matter.
Oh, we'll give you one since you're not.
There's the metal ones in there too.
Oh, okay.
If you want that one instead.
Would you like this one?
Before you pin that one, there's metal ones too. Do you want a metal
That
one?
might be easier.
This one's a keepsake.
I know. Aren't they
Yeah.
nice? They're really like dark shade of purple, but they are purple.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who wants a pin? There's some fabric ones and then there's some metal ones, but there's definitely plenty of whichever one.
There you go. You're welcome.
Right here. Hide me.
Did you put your, well, it's should I?
Is it?
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
We looking this way? This
I don't know, I'm looking that way, I don't know.
This way first?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anybody else need Urban? Anybody else that wants?
Anybody? Yes.
I think all the
cracking,
medals fell to the bottom just because they're heavier.
Yes.
So. Yeah, you're welcome. And then we can leave a handful of extra ribbons just over there on the table for anybody else who would want one.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of October 2, 2025.
Madam Clerk, I move we approve the regular session minutes from October 2, 2025.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Caroline Davis wishes to address the council regarding funding for NAC, NHA, ongoing projects in Harrison County and surrounding areas.
All right, so I did not print off enough copies of these packets. I only have 3, so sorry, guys. All right, so my name is Caroline Davis. I am the Executive Director for the Northern Appalachian Coal Mining Heritage Association. We've shortened that to NACMAHAL because that is a mouthful to say every time I go to talk about our organization. So the reason why I'm here today is, one, to introduce myself. I don't believe we've worked closely with the city of Clarksburg as of yet, but we are hoping to change that. There's a couple of different things that we have going on. One, last year we made an effort to try to get a new exhibit in each of our counties. We cover a 6-county region, including Harrison County. Here in Clarksburg, we were able to work with the Clarksburg History Museum and establish a small coal mining exhibit there within their museum space. The reason why I'm coming to you guys tonight is because we are looking to do even more projects, specifically in Clarksburg and Harrison County in this coming year. Namely, it is going to be an interpretive sign project. We are hoping to establish a coal heritage trail here in north central West Virginia, which of course will incorporate Clarksburg and Harrison County. In the packets I gave you guys, there is our sponsorship letter as well as our sponsorship levels. I know I mailed it to the city council earlier. I don't know if it has been received or not yet though, so I brought extra copies if you guys needed it. Also in there are going to be some examples of the signs that we have already designed for Marion County. And so those will be located there in Marion County over the course of the next year. There's also 2 write-ups of different historical sites here in Harrison County that we are hoping to get interpretive signage at. And then, of course, I believe there might be a list of other sites in that packet. I cannot remember if I put it in there or not, though. But like I said, the reason why I'm coming to you guys today is we would love to work more closely with the city of Clarksburg to get some of these signage, some of the signage here in the city as well, and add you guys to the Coal Heritage Trail. And so we're asking if you would be willing to provide a sponsorship to help with this ongoing project.
Jackson Rexroad, is that right?
Son, won't you come around the front here? Hi.
He's pretty loud.
Oh.
Welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Jackson Rexford, and I live in Clarksburg. I heard that you were planning on building a splash pad at Nutter Fort Park, and I have some comments on how to do it. The floor shouldn't be too smooth so that nobody slips. You could use the same material that is on the floor of the baby pool at the VA pool. It would be cool to have a windmill that at the splash pad that sprays water out through the sails and buckets that dump water.
Good idea.
Can I keep that letter so I can
discuss that?
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Unfinished business, consideration of second and final reading of public hearing of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg to amend zoning ordinance to rezone and reclassify 1400 North 19th Street from an R3 to an R2. Notices regarding the public hearing appeared in the Announcement Telegram on October 8th and October 15th.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. So last meeting, we talked about this pretty extensively, and I appreciate the feedback that I got. It was very enlightening, and I learned a lot. I'm going to support this tonight because I believe that we do need to zone properties to the neighborhood, to what usually the zoning of the neighborhood is. But I did want to discuss something, because I did have a concern, about moving forward after we do this. So at the last meeting, our Vice Mayor, Jerry Riffle, discussed concern of slumlords taking single-family dwellings and making them into multifamily units. And so my question is, do we currently have a problem with single-family dwellings being flipped into multi-family units without code approval?
We have it all over the city. There's houses that are turned into 4 or 5 apartments that we don't even have record of. They're actually been given a variance to be able to do that. It's an issue. I've been talking about it since the day I got on council. It's destroyed streets, and it is all over the place. I mean, I can name so many of the houses, but it's in every neighborhood, and you drive down that street, it's evident, and the amount of police calls and everything that goes to those streets, the amount of complaints and things, they'll go right along with it.
So my question is, how are you enforcing that then? I mean, if they're already zoned for single-family units and folks are flipping them into multi-family units, and they're not getting a permit to do that, how are we enforcing things like that?
So it's not happening now that I can see, and Jason will attest to that. This is a we're finding out about them now. We're trying to look historically when they happened.
Okay.
And then there's not a lot of paper trail or approval that came to the planning. It's a discussion we need to have as council.
Not only they're all over the place, these people that really take advantage of it, they don't even pay their taxes. And we found that. And it's like one thing to do all you can they just pretty much destroying these streets and then also not paying their taxes. It's really a bad loss for the city. Every time we respond, it's not even like they're paying their taxes or that would pay for their services. They're just taking advantage of the system.
And I agree with that. So with that said, will we be sending to planning and zoning every property that we have a concern like this to? Because this is kind of unprecedented,
Well,
really.
we don't send them to planning and zoning. It becomes a code enforcement issue.
But for these properties, we send them to planning and zoning.
Oh, you're talking about the schools?
Yes. So I was just saying, moving forward.
Oh, yes.
So we sent the school buildings to planning and zoning because we want to rezone them to where, they meet pretty much, they're conducive to the other properties, how they're zoned, which I agree with. So my question is, from going forward, any property that we feel that is going to be, potentially, flipped into a slum dwelling or a multifamily dwelling that we feel should be a single family dwelling, will we be making that recommendation to planning and zoning?
Actually, I was discussing today on our next work session, I believe most neighborhoods should be zoned to an R1. which then you wouldn't have to set any individual property. That would, so with the strides that council's making in developing buildings like the Golf or the Waldo, you are giving a proper option for rentals. If you want to rent a single-family dwelling, that's fantastic. But if you want to turn single-family homes, and a large majority of the homes in Clarksburg are absolutely beautiful and historic and should stay single-family dwellings, the way you deal with that is change your neighborhoods to R1. That's what a lot of the neighborhoods, if you look at the school that's in Bridgeport, it's in a residential, that's all R1, and that's how you preserve those type of homes in those neighborhoods. So yes, that's exactly what council should do.
Okay.
Is make a recommendation to the planning and zoning to turn, especially the problematic neighborhoods, which we've identified, to turn those neighborhoods into R1 and to stop this from happening.
Okay, and that's good. I'm glad we're trying to make it a fair playing field. I just don't want it to look like that we're being petty towards the school board on these two projects.
No, I would absolutely suggest that council does that.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of second and final reading and public hearing of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg to amend zoning ordinance to rezone and reclassify 443 Lee Avenue from an R4 to an R2. Notices appeared as previously stated.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
New business, consideration of adoption of a resolution which would set a public hearing date, authorize publication of a notice of public hearing, and the providing of a copy of the notice of public hearing to the West Virginia Division of Economic Development and the local levying bodies with respect to a proposed tax increment financing application to amend the boundaries and approve an amended plan for City of Clarksburg redevelopment district number 1.
So.
Second.
Discussion. Is there actually a resolution that we can look at?
We do have, I think it came in yesterday.
But it's not in the packet, right?
No, they wanted the packet.
Mr. Raymond, could you come to the podium, please, sir?
Be happy to. So, oh geez. I think we have 3 resolutions this evening. One for the existing downtown TIF district, one for the Waldo property, and then one for the golf building property. So the downtown is probably the more complicated. The other two are much more easily understood. So the downtown district, it already includes the Waldo and the golf properties in it. And that TIF district was created in 2008. So it's going to terminate in 2038. So we're already, midway or so into the life of that district. So that creates a more limited ability to use the TIF to redevelop the Waldo and the golf buildings. And so the proposal and the plan would be, and these resolutions would start a process where for the downtown district, those properties associated with the Waldo and the golf building proper, and then the surrounding properties to get them out to the outer boundaries of those districts would be removed from the downtown district. And then the property associated with the Linden School would be added into the district, and then that would be your new downtown district boundaries. And then, the base assessed value, for some technicalities of the Linden School would be set as of now for July 1 of 24, not going back to 2008. And so and the base assessed value associated with the properties being taken out would then be deducted from the downtown district. So then for the Waldo and the golf building, just the properties, with those then being removed, just the properties associated with those facilities that are being redeveloped would then be put into newly created TIF districts that would have a 30-year life and then more of an opportunity to develop those districts. So the three resolutions, there's obviously a statutory process for all this to occur. The resolutions would set a public hearing date for November 18th, 6 p.m. Regular council, well, it's a special council meeting because the date is moved. And also authorize a publication of legal ads for each of the three applications, providing notice of the public hearing, and then letters to the State Division of Economic Development, the County Board of Ed, and the County Commission, providing them with a copy of the notice of public hearing. That's just all part of the statutory process. And then we would take care of sending those letters out, publishing the legal ads, and then on the 18th, council would hold those hearings and then would consider resolutions approving submitting TIF applications to the state for these actions that we've talked about. So that's what's being proposed.
Mr. Aaron, what did you say the expiration date is on the original TIF?
2038.
And the reworking of it does that just have Linden School on an island out there, or does it extend all the way to Linden School?
The existing boundaries of the district go right across the street from Linden School. So you just do a small amendment to just pick up that parcel.
Any other questions for Mr. Aaron?
So the central business district TIF, all the other businesses or buildings downtown are still up until 2038. It's just the golf and the Waldo will be, 30 years starting, I guess, this year.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Aaron. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of adoption of a resolution which would set a public hearing date, authorize publication of a notice of public hearing, and the providing of a copy of the notice of public hearing to the West Virginia Division of Economic Development and the local levying bodies with respect to proposed tax increment financing application to create the City of Clarksburg Redevelopment District Number 2, the Waldo Hotel, and approve a project plan therefore.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of adoption of a resolution which would set a public hearing date, authorize publication of a notice of public hearing, and the providing of a copy of the notice of public hearing to the West Virginia Division of Economic Development and the local levying bodies with respect to a proposed tax increment financing application to create the City of Clarksburg Redevelopment District Number 3, golf building, and approve a project plan therefore.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a budget revision to the allocation of funds to the.
Sorry to interrupt. So everybody knows, there's actually no restrictions on those funds. They haven't been there for the last 3 years. So my request to council is if I can just draft a letter and send it to this senior center to let them know that. There's $20,000 in the budget, but there's no cafe restrictions on it.
Well, I'll make a motion then to amend this consideration, if that's proper, to authorize city manager to send a letter to the Harrison County Senior Center, informing them that there are no restrictions to their current allocation.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. I'd also like to add, after, as the senior center representative of the city council, I have the privilege every couple months to attend a meeting virtually, thankfully, through Zoom, and to listen in on the discussion on the senior center, get updates, and it's not looking good at the moment. Obviously with the government shutdown and other things that are happening in our federal government, like it or not, it's taking a big hit of the budget out of the senior center, and I'd like to see the city of Clarksburg contribute more money come budget time this coming year to the Harrison County Senior Center. I think it would go a long way for them to employ people, transport seniors to and from the center, and keep the center open. They're currently discussing closing the center certain days of the week, stopping meal services, and even possibly stopping transportation on some days. So we need to help out. Those are our seniors, those are our constituents, and I'd like to see that increased come the next budget. Thank you.
I too would like to thank you for putting this on the agenda. I think after the last meeting when I requested to look into nonprofits, so we don't get another YMCA happening on our hands, Mr. Ofield gave me a call on I think that Friday, and we got together on Monday and spoke, and Councilman Hyman, what you just said, I was kind of alarmed a little bit to hear all the issues they're going through, and I too would support that to increase it in the budget. Even if we can do a budget revision, just to be able to give them a little bit more moving forward. I think sooner than later, 'cause I think it's more of a now issue, not a 26, 27 issue. So I would support that as well. But I'm glad to hear it's not restricted, how we did that in the budget. So apparently it's unrestricted funds bill, so we wish you luck, and we're here to support you, and we'll continue to do so.
I will put that on the next budget revision as well, the recommendation for increased funding.
Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I'm going to recuse myself from the next items when I leave the room.
Yeah.
Oh, am I jumping ahead? Okay, I thought we kicked it off. My bad.
So, now on the original, we have had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Is this for item B?
D.
Okay, just make sure.
Motion carries.
Consideration of a memorandum of understanding between the city of Clarksburg and the Harrison County Board of Education regarding the use of pool facilities for school swim teams.
So I'll make a motion to approve the MOU. To move this.
Second.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you got a lot more to add. That's not a question.
All I request in the MOU, if we just change some wording and some things, but it does, well, I have a couple of questions as well, but it does say in here about the convey the gym complex, just for sakes of, I prefer to say recreational complex to the city because it's more than just a gym. It is recreational. So if we could just carry that throughout, replace gym with recreational, I think it'd be more appropriate.
We can do that. I just want to, later on, it classifies the gym complex to the pool and change rooms based only, basically. That's defined later on. So I'll change that, but it's not for the whole facility.
What's not?
The use for the school.
Well, then I guess this will compound the question I have next is under G. It says the LRA will convey the gym complex to the city. So are they only conveying what then?
The intent is the LRA is going to convey the whole YMCA property back to the city.
Okay, so that's going to line what I'm saying, recreational complex, because we're not getting a gym.
I
Right.
understand that.
Okay.
And I will say this agreement isn't intended to lock in the LRA. So we
No, but I want to be consistent in our writings and descriptions. Our MOU should probably match what the LRA is going to actually take effect. Unless you deem it not necessary to be consistent.
we can change it, but that's I was just going to the quitclaim deed from the YMCA to the LRA, all I'm gonna do is change that quitclaim deed from the YMCA to LRA to City of Clarksburg. So we'll get the whole thing back for the city.
Okay, and then in here, it does say the swim teams include teams sponsored and affiliated with South Harrison, Robert C. Byrd High School, and Bridgeport High School. Those teams are herein referred to as the swim teams. And I would just put a note in there, and I think it should be added, Lincoln High School, because they do have a swim team. They did utilize the YMCA, and then following up subsequently under C, then where it says the Bridgeport swim team currently primarily uses the Bridge Sports Complex, it should also say Bridgeport and Lincoln swim teams currently primarily uses the Bridge Sports Complex.
And that's a segue to my question. Do we know if the Bridge Complex allows Lincoln? I didn't know Lincoln participated there too, but did they charge those swim teams to participate at the bridge?
The Board of Education contributes $20,000 to Bridgeport and $20,000 to the YMCA.
Okay, so okay, all right, that's all I need to know.
So these other teams can also schedule this? That's what we're going to see.
I don't know, I listed ours and Notre Dame at the bottom, but has Lincoln historically used the YMCA? Then that would make sense.
Have they used it for practice, or have they just participated in meets there?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to be consistent. I mean, we're listing Bridgeport as one that had formerly used it. So I think to be consistent, you don't leave Lincoln out. I mean, just from a historical standpoint, I think you put them in there. And if this MOU is with the Board of Ed, I'm sure the Board of Ed would probably catch it and say, well, add Lincoln, because let's just hypothetically say the bridge is heaters out and that pool is 65 degrees. They're not going to swim there, so they're going to want to come to the Y and fit in a certain time, or a meet have to be moved, and poor Lincoln won't be able to show up.
So I did send this MOU to Superintendent Stutler, and she was good with the MOU, so these changes I don't think will have an effect on them either.
But that won't change any priority given to RCB and South Harrison. Neither did.
Well, this doesn't set a share policy with Notre Dame yet. They would have to.
Well, yeah, separate from that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, do you have any more?
No, that's it, that's all I have.
Under number 3, the consideration for the board for the payment for the rental or contribution to the complex. Currently, or in the past, historically, is that the same payment schedule they used with the Y?
It's unknown. Ms. Stutler, Superintendent Stutler sent over a baseline MOU to me, and in that MOU, it just said something along the lines of it'll be paid as agreed upon by the parties or something like that. I don't know historically how it's done. The way I read it was they were looking at some sort of installment payment or payment later, and I didn't like the idea of payment later, so we can change, obviously you can change it however you want. That was just the proposal I made.
Only thing I would recommend is move it to November, December, January, February. I just move them all up a month, only because swimming's almost over in March, so I'd rather have the check up front,
We'll change that.
not at the end.
And it says here, the city shall provide a certified lifeguard. Did we find somebody?
We did.
We did, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration, consideration of the approval of the funding of an opioid grant request submitted by Helping Harrison Inc. in the amount of $10,000 for the use of education for the committee's recommendation, and this will be in the form of a resolution.
Well,
Have a motion.
yeah, I'll move to, that the city of Clarksburg, City Council approve, $10,000 grant to Healthy Harrison Incorporated through the opioid settlement funds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
I think that's something, Mr. Burger.
Yeah.
Could you come up and maybe just briefly speak on the last, when we gave money last and how
Yes, certainly.
it was used and how it was,
Of course. Thank you all for the opportunity to come. And let me go backwards and say thank you for the initial investment you made. I don't know if any of you have had an opportunity to look at what we were able to do with the investment that you made. But essentially, we were able to create 10 very high-end, high-quality videos about people who were able to recover in a very strong way that promotes positivity, energy, and excitement for people who might be struggling. It also provided some insight to what we're doing in the community. The typical story I tell is 2 years ago, one of my good friends was calling from Minneapolis because he was coming here to adopt a couple children, and he asked me if it was safe to go trick-or-treating. And I thought it was a very strange question because, for those of us who live here, obviously it is safe, but the news that that was populating whenever they would search for Clarksburg and West Virginia was all about drugs. And so we thought it was very important to change the narrative. And the way we did that was with these 10 very strong stories. We ran billboards, we were in magazines, the newspaper. We did everything we can to get the voice out there, the notification that we were doing these. And what's remarkable, as of last quarter, we hit 270,000 views for all of these catalog of stories. Even more impressive to that than me, we're creating content all the time, but related to health at Healthy Harrison. We had 6,000 total full views of the videos. That means people watched them from start to finish. We were running on YouTube, Facebook. I think we were on Instagram. We continue to promote those stories. And so this refresher of that investment is to continue to promote Healthy Harrison and these stories to get people really excited about the momentum shift and the change in the narrative. If for whatever reason you haven't had a chance to see the videos, the city manager was very gracious enough to let us, have the videos recorded at the Robinson Grand Theater. And so it was a really good showcase of the city. It was a really good showcase of these stories. And it was a real opportunity to put us center stage as leading the charge and taking most of the credit for all the, comeback that we've seen in the numbers that have been presented. So hope this gives you good context. Again, we just want to continue to push the narrative out there and open any questions if you have any, but just very thankful for what you guys have done for us to date.
And I'll just further say too, that I've watched pretty much almost all the videos, and these are all local people. They live here, they work here, they play here, and these were folks. These were your neighbors, maybe some of your relatives that were once down at their lowest point. And when people in this community are at the lowest point, especially when it comes to drugs, sometimes it makes us as a city look like we're at our lowest point. And I think these videos, I believe in my heart that these videos not only help elevate our city through seeing how people do recover, but I think at the end of the day, it gives those folks an opportunity to inspire others that are at their lowest points to recover. So I think this is a win-win. This really speaks a lot to our to potential in our community, to grow and to heal together. So I urge passage.
I mean, yeah, the videos are very moving, very powerful, good work, so I appreciate that. I do have one question. Can you confirm back in November of 2021, the downtown Clarksburg team actually had the best plan? Confirm it on record, you don't want to.
If we could get this guy to turn his recorder off. You guys did great. You did great. And just for the record, I was not a judge on the panel, so.
Anyone else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Mr. Howe, you may come back.
Thanks, sir.
So we're going to deviate from the agenda here and go to council comments. Mr. Deans.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Davis, thank you for coming and speaking. I look forward to finding out a little more about your organization, but I think it'll do. I'm really excited about this. So I think it's an important part of our heritage. And, you know what I've said for the past 2 years that I thought Clarksburg needs to understand where we came from, and then use that to decide where we're going, what we're going to become. And so I think that this is a great way to honor that past. So thank you. Jackson, thank you so much for coming. That was a great speech. You did great. And I agree with everything you say. And you'll probably have a seat up here in 13 years, maybe. I don't know. I am a little concerned. There were some comments from county commissioners in the paper this week about concerns about the splash pad. And I wasn't on council when that initial project was approved. Did we have discussions with the county commission at that time?
No, because it's a city of Clarksburg Park.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not sure we're gonna. I don't know. It just seems like. Have we had any more discussion with?
An information package was sent to them, so once that article popped up, we addressed all their concerns in a full information package, along with.
After the.
No,
or before.
Before their hearing, it was all sent to them.
Okay.
Yes. So every single concern or question that was brought up in that article, that was online, we addressed every single question. We sent them a package with the answers to their questions and the pictures. So I think the main takeaway was that we want to know what they're paying for and contributing to. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is just break down the project, because it's just one thing, it's a splash pad. So if they want to contribute, and I actually talked to Councilmember Powell for this, I wasn't sure how to answer that question because it's just one comprehensive piece of equipment. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just say the infrastructure underground, the concrete pad, the landscaping, and the actual components of the splash pad. That's probably the best I can break it down. That was the main takeaway from their meeting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We talked about zoning concerns. I agree we should probably come to a meeting or a work session and talk about zoning, because several of the calls I've received from constituents lately have been concerns about code enforcement. So I think we really have to focus on that moving forward. I look forward to seeing the comprehensive plans by the end of the day on October 24th. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Mr. Jackson?
Thank you for everyone coming out. A lot of what we do up here, we're passing things, and, it's important to remember that, right now you may not see the picture, but, if you just stick around long enough while we continue to put these pieces into place, eventually you'll get to see what the big picture is. We're working hard to try to make our city what it should be, not what it used to be, but what it can be and what it should be. The splash pad, I would like to thank the young man who came out, because, that's what we need right there. When you have a bunch of 60, well, a bunch of old guys up here, you got a bunch of old guys up here trying to come up with an idea that's going to be good for kids. Basically, we had a young man come up here and tell us, that's what we need. We need to have the youth come and tell us what kind of things the youth like to do. When we're going to do youth things, that's what we need, is we need young people like this to come up and share those ideas with us. And I would like to also piggyback off of what Councilman Dean said. I think that we as a council, we do need a work session. We need to deal with the landlord problem here in the city. We need to make sure that, we tighten this up. We've been talking about beautification, and it starts there. We're going into winter, spring, I would like to have something in place so that individuals understand that, we're no longer going to allow people just to post up, put things on their porch and pack it up with whatever they want to, and broken down cars in their yard. These days are over. And, we as a council, we have to step up, and we have to put this into place and, decide how we're going to enforce this and make this go forward so that we can start to beautify our city. So thank you all for coming in today.
Thank you, young man. Mr. Hyman?
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate Ms. Davis, Jackson coming up and speaking, heritage and coal mine heritage trail. It's pretty interesting stuff. I haven't heard about that before. Jackson, I hope we can put everything that you asked for into the splash pad. I'm curious too about the contributions from the county and the town of Hunter Ford. And I'm sure we're going to have lots of discussion about that. And I know that there's I hate to go back to this, but there's plenty of other locations in Clarksburg. If they don't want to contribute down there, I'm sure we can figure out something for the city, or at least that's in the natural boundaries, as gentlemen used to say here in the city of Clarksburg, where we can put it. One place is to put it up at the YMCA. Why can't we go up there? But that's for another discussion, I guess. Going back to the senior center, it was very, as Mr. House said, alarming to hear that meeting. I know I missed the last meeting. I was on vacation. But we need to figure something out. I'd also support budget revision that increase funds to the senior center. It's obviously they have an issue on hand that we need to take care of. I'd like to see the county get involved too, see if we can work something out. See if we can make sure that the seniors get meals, get transportation, and can go to a center 5 days a week. So that's hopefully we can get that ball rolling. Other than that, have a great weekend and go Steelers.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Long?
I want to thank everyone for coming out. I especially want to thank Ms. Davis. I think we do, believe it or not, Northern West Virginia, we do have a lot of coal heritage here. Robinson Run, Scaly used to have mines.
Our board president actually worked at Robinson Run for 20 some odd years before he retired. So.
Absolutely. And,
yeah.
Even up in Mon County, up where was that place called? Wana up there. There's some mines up there in western Mon County. But, what's really interesting about the Coal Heritage Trail, and a lot of folks in this room probably don't drive every couple of years the whole length of US 52 from Bluefield to Canova, but I do, because I think it's just really quite a story on that Coal Heritage Trail down in southern West Virginia. And you get up in places in McDowell County, and you get up and even in Whitesville, which is on the Boone-Raleigh County line there, where they have like an amphitheater there where the Upper Big Branch Miners Memorial is. They turned that into a big park, and it really brings the community of Whitesville out. You go down to Matewan, down to Mingo County, in those areas, and with the Mine Wars Museum down there, and even the third week in May, you can see the whole reenactment of the shootout in Matewan, and it's just an incredible story. It's our story here in West Virginia, and I do encourage City Council to really look into this, because I think it's a piece of our history that I think is going to, over time, through a couple of generations, and how mechanization and more stricter environmental regulations on the industry are going to really decimate our coal industry, we at least need to have our future generations remember, what used to be here. So I do commend you on that. And Jackson, when you do run for city council, you got my vote there, brother. So that was, that took courage. So I appreciate that. And in speaking to the splash pad, I did get the opportunity to kind of rewatch the county commission meeting that took place, and I don't really, I was just a little bit disappointed, and I don't want to throw anyone on the bus up here because I think our city clerk is the best city clerk in the state of West Virginia. But my question is, was that the plan to have our city clerk speak?
No, I was there from 10 to 11, but then I had another meeting scheduled and I couldn't reschedule that one, so I called and at the last minute said, could you please come up here, because I had called Doug, because they went into executive session. They don't do it like we do at the end of our meeting, they do it throughout their meeting. And I asked Laura, what time do I need to be there to speak? She said 10:30, so that was supposed to give me enough time. Unfortunately, their meeting went over, so I asked Doug to come. Doug was up fixing the Y and power washing the Y, and he was in clothes that he didn't think were appropriate, so Annette came over.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I asked that, because, I don't know how involved our city clerk was in this whole process, but I knew that you've been involved, our grant writer's been thoroughly involved in all this, and for a very long time, and I just, I was like, just a lot of those questions were, I think, questions that you could have probably answered.
Those questions were all answered in a document that I had sent out to them as well. So it was very thorough and comprehensive. All their questions were the questions that were asked in that news article, and they had that information.
Okay. So what's the plan moving forward then with this?
To break up the project parts and giving them those, what those parts are, as well as this was quoted 2 years ago, so there's definitely going to be a cost overrun with inflation, and give them the estimated overrun cost. So once they have that, they should be able to make an even more informed decision than the information that they already have. Generally, you don't break apart a splash pad in regards to pricing, but we'll do it in this case since that seems to be what they're looking for.
Usually, to get like an exact number, and maybe you could educate me on this, but within the $150,000 that we were asking the county commission for the splash pad, usually like the components to that would equal 150,000. Do those usually go out to bid first before we ask for that funding?
So what Doug and I did when we went to apply for the grant is we actually had a company in Ohio, an aquatic company, quote it out so we knew how much we would need for the grant and for ARPA funds. So we have a detailed quote, like the faucet is this much, the basketball sprinklers, 2,000. We have that very detailed already laid out.
And my other question is too, is the park board on board with this project? Do they see any concerns about anything?
No, Doug helped draft a letter to them.
Okay.
And addressed all their concerns himself, and stuff that I wouldn't have the answers to in regards to parking, about putting up. He said there's not a shortage of parking, there's some parking lots that people aren't aware of. He talked about putting additional signage so people are aware of those parking lots. It was a very comprehensive response to those questions.
All right. That's all I got on that one. To the senior center, I commend you all, because I'm going to tell you, I worked with seniors for about 10 years as a social worker, and when you get older, you don't move around as fast as what you used to. And I just turned 47, and sometimes every time I get an ache or pain, I feel like, oh, this is going to end my fishing career. I'm going to start eating spaghetti and play bingo at the senior center. But I haven't even got my AARP card yet. So, but I do think it's a vital resource, for our community, and for folks that can't get out and move around, or can't even drive anymore. And it's a great place for socialization, because as I seen working with seniors, for 10 years, it's very isolating, because you think that we're not the Waltons anymore. We're not raised on one big farm, and everybody comes home and sits around the dinner table and eats. No, you may have a child in Georgia, a child in Texas, and having that senior center, that's a place where people feel like they're at home and they're with family. And I would hate to see that, that shut down because of the lack of federal funding. So I support Councilman Howell's, advocating for, additional funding and budget revision for that. Because, it's a vital part of the community. And, and as a politician, it's probably, the number one voting demographic in the community. So, without some AJ's mansion there you go. I just won't be handing out state flag pamphlets or anything at grocery stores. But anyhow, yeah, really do commend you guys for doing that. So, other than that, I also want to thank our United Way of Harrison and Douglas County volunteers last night who came out to pick up litter. I was quite surprised. We usually just have maybe 2 or 3 people, and there's about 11, and we ended up picking up 15 bags of litter, in Northview alone. And I will say, just walking 2 miles through Northview last night, there's been a lot of water line replacement work, and a lot of dusty cars. So, but you look at it, 12 to 18 months from now, it's going to be new water lines, new streets, and we won't be talking about this. We'll have the best water system in the state. We already do, but we'll definitely even have a better water system. And other than that, I just have one more thing to direct to the city manager. The emails that are going to the city of Clarksburg, I guess this afternoon, are not deliverable. So if you could look into that and try to fix that. So
Thank you.
I've had 3 people contact me already about that. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Yep.
Hal?
So, thank you. Just going back to the splash pad, I didn't realize, I didn't watch the meeting, didn't know Annette did the presentation or answer the questions. But, so, did you have an opportunity to speak with anybody at another Fort Council meeting? What did they do?
I haven't had an opportunity yet. They sent an email to me directly with questions, and I sent that back to them.
Okay. Did they already meet?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think they've met yet.
Okay.
Did they meet? Did they make a decision? They tabled
They
it.
tabled it? Okay. So you weren't at that one?
No.
And then on the splash pad, time-wise, what are we looking at to probably, is it spring 20 or summer 26, fall 26?
To be completed, so
27.
it takes 3 to 4 months to build.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't got the go-ahead to proceed with any action on the grant yet. We got the notice that we were approved, but I'm hopeful that we'll have that before the end of the year, because I'd like to put it out to bid in January at the very latest for construction starting end of March, beginning of April. So it would be open if we can get all the parts mid-summer.
Did we already retain an engineering firm or somebody for the plans?
No, because we're not allowed to until they give us notice to proceed.
Okay, well, that time I won't work. Okay, all right. Jackson, stick with it, buddy. You still might be here, up here, by the time the splash man goes, so keep giving your recommendations. If I could I get you can email it to me, a copy of the last 3 months of the general ledger?
Yes.
And then also, I believe, although I'm over 50, so maybe my memory's going, but in the agreement for the outreach liaison we have in the police department, are we not supposed to get a report from them, an update at some point midterm or?
Every 3 months, we were gonna give one. She hasn't been here for 3 months yet.
Okay. Just make sure we schedule that at the 3-month mark, please. Ms. Davis, thank you. I've never heard of the Cole Heritage Trail either, so glad you came and educated us a little bit.
We're just starting, so.
Yeah, so no, it's interesting and appreciate the information. I'll definitely be perusing that over the next couple of days, and I definitely appreciate that. Wish you luck getting that
Thank you.
implemented.
And I can send an email to whoever I need to, so you guys don't have to share the same 3 packets that I've got.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
can send all of it to you guys in an email, so.
I'm sure we can make copies of it.
Okay,
I can make copies.
awesome.
Just like to thank Public Works and whomever directed them or get it done, but I did appreciate, I didn't have to bring it up, but over on the 2nd Street, Hughes Avenue Island, I did notice all the vegetation was cut, trimmed back, it looks nice. You know, only thing I'd recommend is we can pull up the old mulch, put down some new mulch, and it will look perfect. But, you know, that island looks, will be, when the bridge is open, our entrance back into the city, downtown, so, you know, keeping that upkeep is very important. I do appreciate that. And also, just I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you for the firemen that came, the ones who were here, probably had left for a call, but appreciate that. And then also, just like to say, this marks 3 years for Pat St. Julian for pancreatic cancer, and when he was diagnosed, and I think he's just demonstrated great strength, and God bless him. Going through that, and to where he's at today, he's made tremendous progress. Even though pancreatic cancer is one that's very difficult to really can't overcome, but I think he's commended. Please pass along. We appreciate his work ethic, still coming to work and everything he does, and God bless him. He does a great job. So, and I will say on a personal standpoint, it does touch me as well. My wife's aunt, she has pancreatic cancer, and it's something every day families go through, and it's tough. And God, I just don't know how people put up with it, and it's just a strength they have to have. And appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers and things like that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Vice Mayor.
I don't have anything I had to say. Oh, wow. I want to thank Ms. Davis for coming out, bringing us this to our attention. I'm going to take a look at it, as Mr. Howe said. Check it out. Jackson, great job, buddy. You didn't just come up front to speak, you came up front to speak. You looked right in the mayor's right in his eyes and let him know. I don't have the guts to do that, but, I might need you to help me get some things passed up here. I'll bring you with me, everybody. How old is it?
7.
I was right, 11 years.
But yeah, really, it's the guts to go up there and speak. It's impressive, buddy. Great job.
Thanks.
I want to. So we have this love-hate relationship with the newspaper, not you specifically, but some op-eds here in the past 6 months. They haven't been as loving as we believe we deserve, but I believe the last op-ed was great, and I think it was great. I think the city manager was probably the most excited I've ever heard. Like, she was very excited to hear the story. It was like she shared it with me. It was just a good story. It was a good recognition of what is actually going on here, things that we are doing. The roads are messy. We get it, but we are building something, and then it's going to be there. Next thing you know, it's going to be there right in front of our eyes. And appreciate everybody's hard work behind the scenes. Everything you're doing it. Appreciate Public Works going through doing the fall cleanup. I know that's not most of their favorite time of the year. They probably hate it, and I don't blame them. It's not easy. And then, everybody always gets theirs out, but they missed it. But we know it's a tough thing to do, and it's a great service. But we found out exactly what it meant to the community when we in the past, the previous city manager, talked about getting rid of one. And, you know, the community was not happy. So it shows how important it is. So on behalf of me and the rest of the council, please give everybody our thanks. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Well, I want to concur with everything that was said up here. Vice Mayor, if you buy paper once in a while, you could have read that. And I let Andy nicely know that it was appreciative, so he did respond to me. Jackson? Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Put that in your room.
Okay.
All right. If you see something, say something. Pick up the phone and dial 911. We can't do anything if you don't call, so we can help. Other than that, anybody reading the,
Pursuant to Chapter 6, Article 9A, Section 4 of the West Virginia Code, I move that council adjourn to executive session to discuss matters involving the purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, the investment of public funds, and other matters involving compensation which, if made public, might adversely affect the financial or other interests of the city, and that the following persons be present: mayor and members of city council, city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
We're moving to adjourn.
We got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? All opposed?
Who made the motion?
We'll fill her in.
Fill her in.
Jerry moved,